sometimes it is very difficult to move from a home to, say, a condo building or even some sort of independent living facility. That transition, of course, is very hard and very emotionally difficult. But what the research shows is that people older in life who have moved into some sort of community setting often have higher levels of happiness because there is that built-in social contact that you have by seeing, neighbors in the hallway and people in that same sort of community setting.
And I loved the conversation in the book, and please remind me of the collaborator on this one. But it was about circles of closeness and contact, right? It was a little bit about how many people are in your inner circle and outer circle. One of the things in financial planning, I think, is we worry so much about, okay, can I retire? What asset allocation should I have? What cash flow? Here's my pretty spreadsheet, But do we think about inner circles and communities? And I don't know. I really found that to be poignant as well.
That's one of my favorite chapters of the book. It's a discussion with Laura Carstensen, who heads up the Stanford Center on Longevity.
So good.
She talks about how our social circles tend to change as we age, and they actually do get smaller in some cases for sad reasons. People die, they might move away, but a lot of that is kind of self-selected winnowing that we might cast off. I think she calls them peripheral others, and the example she gives is like your kids' friends' parents, who they're maybe perfectly fine part of your social network, and maybe they will stay part of your social network, but people like that, not in the true inner circle. And so we might have these networks that are as small as like 4 or 5 people who are very, very close. And those sorts of relationships are everything. And I think we all have people like that in our lives where you come away and you're walking on air because you feel so understood. You feel like you have just understood someone very completely. And so her point is that you'll see changes in your social network, and it's okay. And don't be worried about your social network getting smaller.
And I thought it was also interesting just about like happiness that goes along with that. And I've read also where men tend to suffer a bit, widowed men, that their best friend was their spouse, right? And that was kind of the key to the network.
Exactly.
And now that key is gone.
Exactly.
And then we find more depression and sadness and some bad outcomes there.
Yeah, for sure. And another issue related to men, and this came up in a few chapters, is how men tend to have more social engagement from their work than women. Women might have certainly a network at work of friends, but they might also have other moms or other people in their yoga group or whatever. You pick up friends all over the place as a woman. And I think some guys, and of course this is a huge generalization.
Well, I don't think you're wrong.
So the point is for men to be preemptive, know that, well, if I, my main lunch buddies were all people I work with, what are you going to do to replace those
I tell
things?
you, I made a couple of guy friends over COVID, and that was hard to do. Men in their 40s, like we both have lives, but now my buddy Dave and I are like real close. But it's not easy.
You've got to put yourself out there, right?
You do. And so that was different.